Winter is coming. I just wanted the excuse to dress up as Jon Snow, really. Yeah, but this costume is now tax deductible, right?
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
So this video is actually supposed to be all about heat pumps. Well, my heat pump anyway, because I'm approaching my third winter with it. And I guess I wanted to reassure anyone considering getting a heat pump that they do work, and they work extremely well. So coming up, I'm going to tell you all about what I've got installed, what it's like to live with, energy consumption, noise, all that kind of stuff. To recap on what I have, back in December 2023, we had Octopus Energy remove our 23-year-old dodgy gas boiler and replace it with a 6 kilowatt Daikin air source heat pump. We had quite a number of radiators replaced around the house too. Some of them were just because they were quite old and rusty, but most of them needed upgrading. Because a heat pump tends to run at a lower water flow temperature than a gas boiler does, well, certainly lower than our old gas boiler did, then to get the maximum amount of heat into your rooms, you need radiators with a bigger surface area. You can do that by installing double panelled radiators or even triple panelled ones like we have in our dining room. We also had our old hot water tank, which was in our airing cupboard above the stairs, replaced with a much larger hot water tank in our garage. You see, with a heat pump you tend to store your hot water at a slightly cooler temperature than with a gas boiler, which isn't a problem at all because you mix it with cold water anyway in order to use it. But when your hot water is cooler, to get the same output temperature at your taps, you'll need to mix in less cold water. That means you'll use more hot water, which is why you need a bigger tank. There's also a whole bunch of new pipes and whatsits and thingamabobs needed to plumb everything together. Now, because I had a nice big wall at the back of my garage, the installers were able to spread things out, so it does look like this is taking up a huge amount of space, but in reality this could all fit into a cupboard if you needed it to. Sitting in the middle of all of that is the main control unit, which is where the system is configured. I've pretty much left this alone with the original installation settings, apart from the schedules which I have tweaked as I needed. This is the part that connects to your Wi-Fi network too, so as you can control it with the app. Now, most heat pump controllers have an app to control them, and my Daikin one has the Onecta app. Onecta. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Onecta app lets you make basic changes like adjusting the room temperature and editing schedules, which is very handy, but if you need to make advanced changes to the system, then you have to do that directly on the controller. Inside the house we have this, which in the old days would have been a thermostat, but now is just a fancy temperature sensor with a few basic controls on it. Now, don't be tempted to change it for a third-party one like Hive or Nest. Your heat pump works most efficiently when it knows what the actual temperature is in your house, so as it can modulate its own output based on that temperature. A third-party thermostat is normally just a basic on-off switch. It doesn't give that temperature data to your heat pump, so it could end up costing you more money to run in the long run.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
She's always saying that. So what was the whole installation process like then, and was it disruptive? Well, in short, yes, and it was unavoidable really. It took a week, and for most days during that week we were without heating and hot water. We chose to get it installed in December, and it was a cold week, but we had plug-in electric heaters to keep us warm for a few days. My advice would be to have the work done in the summer if you can, to avoid having a cold house. But most people tend to want their installs done in the warmer weather, so as a consequence you might find it's more difficult to get booked in. I made a whole set of videos vlogging my experience of having it installed day by day, so I'll put some links to those videos down in the description if you want to check them out. I had my installation done by Octopus Energy, and if you'd like to get a quote from them, then please use my link speaktothegeek.co.uk/heat pump, and we'll both get a £100 gift card once your installation has been completed. I'll admit that I was a bit nervous about whether the heat pump would be able to keep our house warm. I know the technical theory all stacked up, but there are so many horror stories out there about heat pumps not working and loads of very angry anti-heat pump people who claim that they don't work, that even I had that thought at the back of my mind. Well, they're all talking absolute bollocks. With our old gas boiler, we used to use smart radiator valves to control which rooms were heated at particular times of the day. But if you do that with a heat pump, then it's generally less efficient. I won't go into the full details of why that is, but it's all to do with having a certain volume of water circulating the system and also maintaining one thermal envelope within your home. So what we do with the heat pump is heat the whole home gently and allow that temperature to drop or rise slightly at various points through the day. The result is that our home is more consistently warm everywhere. So if we walk from the living room into the kitchen, then there's no sudden drop in temperature. Same in the bedrooms and bathrooms. The comfort levels with a heat pump are amazing. There's no massive spike of heat in a room when the thermostat kicks in, but there's also no massive drop in temperatures either. It's just a nice and smooth temperature all of the time in all of the rooms. If you're the sort of person though who likes to get up and close to a piping hot radiator, then you might be disappointed with a heat pump though. The radiators get warm, but they are never hot. So noise then. It's not quiet, but it's also not the roaring monster that a lot of the anti-heat pump lot want you to believe. Some heat pumps are noisier than others, and noise also depends on things like how hard it needs to work. So when it's colder outside, the compressor has to run harder, so it makes more noise. But in general use, all you hear is a slight fan noise. It's mostly air movement from the fan rather than the compressor itself. During its first winter, I did a very rough noise test using my Apple Watch. Not very scientific, I know, but it measured at 39 decibels from 1 meter away, and that is compared to the background noise of 36 decibels at that time, so not massively more. What I will say is that my neighbours can't even hear it on the other side of the fence, even when it's been running at full pelt, so that's a good sign. Sometimes we can hear it inside the house when it's running at full power, but only when we're in the kitchen on the other side of the window that it's underneath, and if the house is very quiet. Even then, it's rare that that happens, and it doesn't last for long before the heat pump regulates its output down and the noise starts to drop off. Costs can be split into two categories. There's the running costs, so how much will you pay in energy bills to heat your home and hot water, and then there's the initial upfront costs for installing the heat pump itself. Let's start with the running costs, and for this I'm going to show you my 2024 data. This graph shows my heat pump's energy usage in green against my gas energy use from the previous year in red, month by month. Next year, probably January or February, I'll update this graph with 2025's data so as we can see if it's more or less consistent. But the main thing this graph is highlighting is just how little energy the heat pump uses compared to my old gas boiler. But that's energy use and not costs. Electricity does cost a lot more per unit than gas. So I took the average UK standard rates last year for gas and electricity and calculated how much my bills would have been if I'd had a gas boiler still. The fake section of this graph here is because I used to use an immersion heater for the hot water, so I used gas rates rather than electricity rates, meaning my total bill for heating and hot water using gas would have been £557. That is slightly cheaper than the heat pump would have cost on standard rate electricity, because that comes out at £594. For that £37 a year extra though, I do get whole home comfort. I'm heating more of my house more often. I could reduce that if I wanted to save money, but I think that £37 would be worth it personally. But that isn't actually what it cost me. Don't forget that I have home batteries which I charge off-peak, so let's do some maths. My heat pump used 2,424 kilowatt hours last year. I heat my hot water off-peak, and for that I was paying 8.5 pence per kilowatt hour. About 800 kilowatt hours was for hot water. That would have cost me £68. That leaves me with 1,624 kilowatt hours for heating. Now, most of that was powered from my batteries that were charged off peak, but there are overheads and losses involved when you charge and discharge your batteries. I'm going to say that that's roughly 15%. So if we round that up to it costing us 10 pence per kilowatt hour. But those batteries did run out sometimes, and I would end up pulling from the grid at peak times. It's very difficult to calculate this, but looking back at my energy data for December to February, I used 411 kilowatt hours at peak, which, whilst not directly used by the heat pump, was indirectly caused by running the heat pump from the batteries. So 411 kilowatt hours at the Octopus Go peak rate for last year, which was 30 pence per kilowatt hour during those months, means it cost £123 for peak energy. The remaining 1,213 kilowatt hours charged at 10 pence per kilowatt hour comes out at £121. Adding those all together gives me a grand total estimated real heat pump running cost last year of £312. £312 for heating and hot water in a 4-bedroom home for a full year compared to the £557 when using gas. That's a saving of £245, and I know that involves a massive investment in all of the other kit around it, like the batteries for example. But if you already have home batteries, then this is when they start to shine. You can't do this with a gas boiler. Without batteries, your running costs are going to be roughly the same as a gas boiler. Installation costs then. Well, I put a whole video together about that, which I'll put a link to down in the description for you. But to summarise it, it didn't differ much in cost to getting a replacement boiler put in. I was given a rough quote of about £4,000 to replace my old boiler and get all of the pipework up to regulations. My total costs overall for the heat pump install was £3,678. I have to caveat this a bit though, because I paid £230 for planning permission, which in the end I didn't actually need. I also paid £583 for a new shower because I have a stupidly expensive gadgety one. I also added on an energy monitor, a Shelly Pro EM for £83. Most of those costs you won't realistically have for your install, but I paid for this using a nationwide green loan that's tied to my mortgage, and the money for that came through quite early on in the process. I counted the interest earned on that towards my total costs. I also sold all of my old heating components, so the Evo Home smart valves and controllers, and even a water pump were passed on. I could also have sold my old boiler for scrap metal too, but I didn't think of that at the time. It all adds up though, so if you are upgrading, keep an eye on what is being thrown out because it probably has resale or scrap value. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you hate heat pumps or just dislike my face, then don't forget to let me know down in the comments as usual, because all of that interaction helps the video get more views. Please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for free to see more from me. A massive thank you to my channel members and patrons listed here for supporting the channel. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a patron or a member, then check out the links down in the description. In return, you'll get early access to my videos and some bonus content too. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.